Before this video starts, I just want to plug my own small film. It's called Creature. I made it on a small budget with a group of friends. Very, very tiny production, but it's a movie I'm very proud of. I put a lot of hard work and love into it, and everybody involved, we all think it turned out pretty great. So click the link on your screen or at the end of the video and go check it out. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Happy New Year, everybody. It is 2024, officially, day one of 2024. And with it, there's going to come a lot of changes. A lot of stuff on this channel is going to be changing. You're going to be seeing on the coming days a very different style of videos from me, how I'm going to be making these videos. So it's going to be a very, very big year for me personally, both on this channel and in stuff that I'm going to be doing within film. So please hit that subscribe button right now if you want to see what's coming, because it's going to be a huge year, trust me. But also with 2024, we have a brand new slate of movies, tons of new movies to get excited about, to look forward to anticipate. And after the brilliant year of 2023, I honestly think that the film industry has never been in a better place, and there are so many great films to look forward to for this year. So this is going to be my top 20 video, the top 20 movies I'm most looking forward to. Now, of course, there are going to be a bunch of movies that come out this year that I didn't even know existed until they came out. For example, my number one of 2023, Anatomy of a Fall, I had never heard of it until about a month before I had seen it, and it ended up being the best movie of the year for me. So because of that, this list is kind of hard to make, but these are just the movies that I know about and how excited I am to see each and every one of them, and just sort of predicting which ones I think are going to be the best of the year. So let's get right into it. You know how these lists work. Leave yours down below. And before I start the list, I just want to say Beyond the Spider-Verse, it would be number one on this list, but I don't think it's coming out in 2024. I think it's still slated for next year, but I'm suspecting it's going to be a 2025 release, so yeah, you'll see it on next year's video. First up is Transformers 1. Now, this is a movie that I don't really know too much about. I know it's an animated movie. I know Scarlett Johansson and Chris Hemsworth are the stars of it. I've seen some images that kind of look cool. They kind of look like those early 2000s, late 90s Transformers cartoons, and it could be really interesting. I think the change that the Transformers franchise might be needing is this, to do something different other than these big, punchy, CGI fest live action movies. Maybe a great animated movie in the style of something like Across the Spider-Verse would be really, really cool. So I am looking forward to seeing what this one is, although I do sort of smell a stinky potential from this one. Next up is Sing Sing. Now, this movie is not one that I know a lot about. I just know that it did premiere at some festival last year, and it got raving reviews. It stars Colman Domingo, and it's directed by Greg Cuidar. It's going to be distributed by A24. Now, I don't know when this is coming out. I don't really know anything about it. I know it's about, like, some correction facility or a group of prisoners that end up, like, singing or something. I don't know. All I know is that I've heard it's amazing. I heard Colman Domingo gives the best performance of his career, and I am really looking forward to this one hopefully being a top movie of the year. The Book of Clarence. Now, this one's coming out very, very soon, like, literally in 2 weeks, so look out for my review. But this is made by a director that I really like, the same guy that made The Harder They Fall, one of the most underrated movies of 2021, a movie that I think is as close as we'll get to a Quentin Tarantino Western without Tarantino being involved. And The Book of Clarence looks equally as awesome. It's a movie about this guy who's essentially pretending to be Jesus, or he's kind of, imitating Jesus, back in the time where Jesus actually existed. And it just looks like such a funny, hilarious, and almost epic movie, and I'm really excited to see, and I'm really hoping that this one turns out to be great, and hopefully a strong start to 2024. Next is Wicked Part 1. Now, this is going to be the big musical of the year, and I am a big fan of all of the Wizard of Oz-esque, movies, musicals, all that stuff. I'm a big fan of Wicked, and I'm kind of excited to see how this one gets translated to film. I feel like it's a long time in the making. This is something that probably should have happened like 10 years ago. But we're going to be getting a Wicked movie. I'm not really sure why it's being split up into 2 parts, but I am looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with this project. Then we have Kind of Kindness. This is the next film from Yorgos Lanthimos. Of course, Poor Things is one of the biggest movies of 2023. Most people loved it. I ranked it pretty high on my list. I don't know anything about this movie. I just know that Emma Stone is going to be in it. I know at one point it had a different title that was very unique, and I wish they didn't change it. But yeah, Kind of Kindness, I'm sure, is going to be on most people's lists, and it's a movie that I think a lot of people are going to be excited about. And when it comes out, hopefully it's something as unique and as special as Poor Things was. Then we have Gladiator 2, and this one was a lot higher on this list. It was honestly in the top 5 until I saw Napoleon, and I just feel like Ridley Scott may be losing a step here when it comes to making these big, epic, sort of warrior-type movies, about these historical figures. And obviously, Gladiator is one of the greatest movies of all time. And do we really need a sequel? No, we don't. But we're getting one, and it's got a great cast. I know Denzel Washington's in it. I know Paul Mescal is playing the lead. I know Barry Keoghan was in it, but I think he got recasted, which kind of sucks. I'm very interested to see if this one could turn out to be a hit. I'm interested to see what Ridley Scott's cooking up here, but my excitement definitely is a little bit wavered after my disappointment with Napoleon. Then we got Venom 3. 3, and this is what I'm intrigued about just because I feel like it could be the big movie that brings back Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, and we might get an amazing Spider-Man versus Venom movie, potentially. Now, there's also a chance this just ends up being another generic Venom movie, like the first two, which is something that I wouldn't be that excited about and wouldn't be making a list like this. But, you know, the kid in me, the comic book fan in me, is excited at the thought of seeing Tom Hardy's Venom fighting Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, and I think there's a chance that that's what this movie is, or maybe it's not, and this might be, you know, the last time I'm really gushing about this movie, but we'll see. Then we have A Quiet Place Day 1, the prequel to the first two Quiet Place movies, two movies that I absolutely adore. I think they're so unique and so amazing. This one is not directed by John Krasinski, but it is going to be great, I think. It's directed by Michael Ceranosky, and it stars Joseph Quinn and Lupita Nyong'o, and it tells the story of the first day of the Quiet Place, you know, apocalyptic thing that's going on here. And I just want more of this world. I want more of it. I want to see more of this universe, more of these characters. I really want A Quiet Place Part 3, because that movie, you know, the second one really set up a trilogy ender that seems so significantly interesting, so I really want that movie, and I think John Krasinski will make it eventually. But until then, A Quiet Place Day 1, I'm very, very excited about it. And number 12 is Ballerina. Now, this is the first major spin-off to the John Wick series, the first major film in the John Wick series that doesn't include John Wick. It's going to star Ana de Armas playing a younger version of that ballerina character that we got in the second John, or the third John Wick movie, and I'm very excited to see how they could pull off a John Wick universe film, an epic film without John Wick. Can Ana de Armas still, you know, kind of embody a coolness or a special vibe that Keanu Reeves embodies that makes those movies so awesome? How is the action going to translate? How is all of that going to come into play, and how successful will this movie be? These are all questions that I have, and I'm excited to see, and I hope it ends up being a massive hit. At number 11 is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and I am a big fan of these new Planet of the Apes movies. Now, the three that we've gotten were done by Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves, who is not directing this movie. He's off doing Batman. This movie's directed by a guy named Wes Ball, who I haven't really seen any of his work before, but the guy seems super, super awesome, and the trailers of these movies kick absolute ass. The trailers that we have gotten make these movies look like exactly what I wanted after the end of the first trilogy. This brand new world after a time jump where the apes are leading the world, and humanity is kind of like a fossilized version of itself. This looks like it could be epic and awesome. It has all the vibes that I want it to be, and I'm hoping it continues to be one of those big named franchises that just continues to succeed and continues to put out high quality films. I'm hoping it's not a stinker. Breaking into the top 10, we have Deadpool 3. Now, this is the only film coming from the MCU next year, if you want to consider it an MCU movie, because it's, you know, technically not, but it is because it's being produced by the MCU. But this is going to be the big multiversal movie, bringing in Deadpool, bringing in Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, and I'm sure a bunch of other Fox characters. You have Matthew McFadden playing a TVA agent from what I've heard, so, like, I cannot wait to have a Tom joke, because you know, we're breaking the fourth wall here. There's going to be a Tom joke here. I just don't think this movie has any chance in the world at bombing and at missing and not being a massive success. This movie's going to make $1 billion. It's going to be everybody's favorite thing when it comes out. It's going to be one of the biggest things on social media. It's going to be an easy hit. It's just going to be a hit. There's no way this movie fails. I just don't know, because I am in comic book fatigue. I don't know if this movie's going to completely work for me. I don't know if it's going to be a top 10 movie of the year for me, but it is a top 10 most anticipated movie of the year, just because of seeing Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine. That's going to be cool. And number 9 is IF, Imaginary Friends, John Krasinski's brand new film, and I really like the trailer for this movie. The movie seems like it's targeted for a family-based audience, for a younger audience, but the trailer was so heartwarming here, and John Krasinski is one of my favorite filmmakers that's going to be making a movie this year. He's a great, great filmmaker. He's very young in his filmmaking work, but this is a movie that's just so inventive and so different from anything else I've seen, and it looks so nice and so fun, and Ryan Reynolds looks amazing, and hey, look, it's Judith. Judith is in this movie too. Kaylee Fleming getting some roles. That's really cool. I'm very, very excited to see what this movie turns out to be, and I hope it ends up being great. Number 8 is Furiosa, and believe it or not, this was number 2 about a month ago, and then the trailer came out, and there's so much CGI. This trailer scared the shit out of me, because I'm just going to be honest, it did not look that good to me, and that scares the shit out of me. I'm just hoping it's a bad trailer to what will eventually be a masterpiece of a movie, because Mad Max Fury Road is one of the best movies of the last 20 years, and it's a movie we've been waiting years and years and years for George Miller to follow up, and now we finally have a prequel, or really a spiritual, successor to that movie, and, with the cast that it has of Anya Taylor-Joy and Chris Hemsworth, like, this movie should be a banger. banger. It has all the makings of a banger, but there's just so much CGI and so much VFX in that trailer that it freaks me out. That's why I bumped it down a little bit, but I'm still excited. At number 7 is Blitz. Now, this is the brand new film from director Steve McQueen, and it takes place during World War II during the Blitz bombings of London. It has a really, really great cast of Saoirse Ronan and Stephen Graham, and the film just seems like it's going to be a big, epic World War II drama, and that excites me because I eat that shit up. Steve McQueen is a great director, he's a great writer, he's made a lot of good stuff, and this is something that I'm just really, really excited for, and I've heard a lot of good things from inside of this movie. At number 6 is The Lord of the Rings, The War of Rohirrim. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, Lord of the Rings fans. But this is a big, animated Lord of the Rings epic movie, and it's a prequel to the original Lord of the Rings trilogy and the Hobbit trilogy, and it's about some king doing some crazy stuff, and Brian Cox is voicing the main character. And how can you not be excited about this? If you like the Lord of the Rings movies, if you love them, which I do, how can you not be excited about this? The potential to get a Spider-Verse version of the Lord of the Rings is so exciting, and God, I really hope this one works out. This is a movie that could end up being one of the better movies of the year, but it could also end up being something that's really forgettable. So, like, we'll see, but it's the first time we've gotten a Lord of the Rings movie in quite a little while, and I'm very excited for this. At number 5 is Alex Garland's Civil War. Now, the first trailer for this movie kicks ass, and it reminded me that, yes, Alex Garland is one of the best filmmakers and screenwriters we have, despite the fact that Men was a weird fucking movie. But this is a movie that's like a slam dunk of a concept, because it's something that's so relevant to today's day and age in the divided and separated, United States that we have. A Civil War movie that I'm sure is going to be very political and very controversial, but just looks epic and follows these journalists that are trying to cover the war and are interacting with both sides, and, it just looks crazy. It looks fun. Kristen Dunst is in the movie and she looks amazing. Her husband, Jesse Plemons, is in the film. Nick Offerman's playing, like, the president, and that looks great. This movie just looks like it's going to be a slam dunk. Now, it does have some bust potential because, Alex Garland did make Men, which I wasn't the biggest fan of, but overall, this movie just seems like it's going to be a killer good time. It looks like it's going to be really, really deep with its themes about our world and about, what's going on in America currently, and overall, it just seems like a movie that I'm really gonna dig when it comes out. At number 4 is Mickey 17, the long-awaited follow-up to Bong Joon-ho's last movie, Parasite. We have been waiting so long for this man to make another movie, and finally we have it. Mickey 17, and it's coming out in 3 months. Where is the marketing? Like, this is kind of unbelievable. It's probably gonna get delayed. Mickey 17 will star Robert Pattinson, and it's based off a book that I've read, and it's gonna be this big sci-fi movie about this group of humans who are living on this new planet that they've colonized, and a bunch of weird shit happens, and it follows this character who essentially every time he dies, he gets cloned into a new version of Mickey. So, Mickey 17 is the 17th version of the character, and he's died 16 times before. And that brings a whole bunch of moral questions. It's kind of about AI in a weird way. It's about consciousness. It's going to be really, really exciting. And obviously, Bong Joon-ho is one of the best filmmakers we have alive today. And his last movie is arguably the best movie, maybe ever. I mean, Parasite is amazing. So yeah, obviously, I'm really excited for this movie. I'm just a little skeptical because of how little they've marketed it. It's just like, is this one in trouble? I don't know. But yeah, number 4, Mickey 17. At number 3, and I really considered putting this number 1, is Nosferatu, the brand new film from Robert Eggers, who is slowly becoming my favorite director in Hollywood at the moment. His first 3 movies, The Witch, The Lighthouse, and The Northman, are all absolute monstrous hits for me, and Nosferatu sounds on paper like it's going to be his best movie. It's a remake of the classic horror film, arguably the greatest horror film, or the most instrumental horror film in history. The film stars people like Willem Dafoe, Bill Skarsgård, Lily Rose Depp, Nicholas Hoult, a bunch of other people. It's got a really great cast, and obviously it's going to be a smaller, horror-based movie trying to recreate the story. Robert Eggers going back to those small, intricate-style horror movies versus the epicness of The Northman, and I'm so excited to see how this turns out. I think it's going to be amazing. The cinematography looks great. The shots that we've seen look amazing. And this is going to be an amazing Christmas movie for some reason later this year. And number 2 for the second straight year is Dune Part 2. Luckily, the only movie on this list that's appearing for a second time in a row. Because last year's list had like 5 or 6 movies that were appearing for a second year in a row. This time it's only 1. Yeah, I mean, it's fucking Dune. Come on. I mean, who's not excited for this movie? It should have been out already. They delayed it for really stupid reasons. But yeah, it's coming out next year. It's probably going to be the best movie of the year, let's just be honest. Denis Villeneuve, one of the best filmmakers we have. First Dune movie was epic. This one looks even better, and it's covering the better half of the book. The trailers look great. Everything about this movie is insane. I've talked about this movie enough. let's just wait for it to come out. We got only a couple months left, and it's going to be amazing. And for me, of course, number one's going to be Joker Folie à Deux, okay? Come on. Listen, I'm the biggest Joker fan in the world. He's my favorite character in anything ever. I think the character is just so amazing and could literally do anything for me, and I will be there to watch it. Joker 2019 is one of my favorite comic book movies. I think it's amazing. I'm on the side of things that say that movie's a masterpiece. And although that movie didn't really need a sequel, I was one of the people that thought, yeah, I kind of want to see where this version of that character goes. Why not? And to take that character and introduce Harley Quinn into the fold, starring Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga's Harley Quinn? Come on, that's perfect. Now we have a very interesting movie, a love story of sorts between the Joker and Harley, something that we probably should have gotten years ago with Margot Robbie's version of the character, but finally we're going to get it here with Todd Phillips, who's a phenomenal director, coming back to direct this. You're going to have two actors at the top of their games fighting for another Oscar for Joaquin, fighting for a first Oscar for Lady Gaga. This movie's apparently like a musical, which I know a lot of people are scared off by, and I don't know why. Like, what do you want just another basic Joker movie, like another generic comic book movie? No, when I heard this movie is a musical, that got me so excited, because it's like, oh, they're trying to do something different. They're trying to do something that has never been done in this genre, and that is going to subvert expectations, and I am so freaking excited to see what they've cooked up with this. This could end up being one of the best movies of the year. This could be one of the best movies of the decade, or it could be an absolute dumpster fire that we're saying, man, why did they make a sequel to that? Why did they make an unnecessary sequel, right? That might be something we're saying at the end of the year. Or this movie could be sweeping the Oscars and we can go, wow, sequels in the Batman universe just always end up being better. So yeah, I'm obviously very, very excited for this movie. It's my most anticipated movie of the year, and hopefully it'll be the best movie of the year, but probably not. It never ends up. The number one most anticipated movie of the year never ends up number one on these lists. For example, last year was Oppenheimer. Great movie. Ended up number 3 on my list. The year before for me, it was Babylon. Yeah, that movie was a stinker. But yeah, that's the list. Let me know what your most anticipated movies are down below. Make sure to like and subscribe and watch my movie, because why not? It's pretty good. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video tomorrow.